Right, now we want to get to a story so many of you have shown interest in. A 5-year-old and his father, who were detained by ICE in Minnesota, are waking up in their own home this morning. A judge ordered their release from a detainment facility in Texas over the weekend. Congressman Joaquin Castro, a Democrat from Texas, said he escorted Liam Ramos and his father back to Minnesota yesterday. And federal officials are grappling with the fallout from the immigration crackdown in that state. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem is under the microscope over the shooting death of Alex Preddy. On 60 Minutes, Senate Homeland Security Committee Chair Rand Paul said the department has to restore trust.
Should Secretary Noem be fired?
I think we have to get through our hearing February 12th, and I think we have to see what the people who work for her say. But my advice to them, if they're watching and they come to testify, is if you come in and you're going to justify that this man was aggressively assaulting your police officers, that cannot be acceptable, and that's why they're lacking in trust.
Our newly announced CBS News immigration correspondent, Camilo Montoya-Galvez, is here with me in studio to discuss this. Camilo, good morning and congratulations on your elevation. So well earned. How were Liam and his father able to get back to Minnesota? So many people have been captivated by this story.
Yeah, Errol, Liam Conejo Ramos and his dad are back in Minnesota because of a scathing court ruling by a federal judge in Texas who wrote in part that the family's detention, Errol, has its genesis in the ill-conceived and incompetently implemented government pursuit of daily deportation quotas, apparently even if it requires traumatizing children. So this federal judge in Texas strongly criticized the Department of Homeland Security over the detention of Liam and his dad earlier in January. We should note that the Department of Homeland Security says the family from Ecuador is in the country illegally in violation of federal immigration law and that they should face deportation. They do have a pending immigration court case that has to be adjudicated, Errol, before any deportation effort. But for the time being, they remain out of government custody so they can continue that process outside of a detention center. They were being held in a detention center in Texas, and you saw Liam wearing that blue bunny hat that he was wearing on the same day when he was detained earlier in January.
And there's so much more to this story still. In a CBS News exclusive, you actually spoke with the man agents were pursuing when Alex Preddy was shot. What did he tell you? Well,
his name is Jose Huerta Chuma. He's told us that he's an Ecuadorian immigrant who came to the U.S. over 2 decades ago in the early 2000s, and that he's in the country without permission. He has a minor criminal record. He says he has traffic violations, and he was arrested back in 2018 in connection to a domestic violence dispute with his partner at the time. He was somebody who was convicted of disorderly conduct, but that case was ultimately dismissed, and he's now in hiding, he tells us, because the Department of Homeland Security, Errol, is actively looking for him, calling him a violent, criminal, illegal alien. That is the statement from the Department of Homeland Security. And what he told us is that he witnessed the entire shooting and that it felt horrible, according to him, to be watching that and not being able to do anything. And he also told us, importantly, that he feels some sense of guilt over what happened because, again, he was the reason that Border Patrol was there in the first place, actively looking for someone to arrest.
Interesting perspective some may not have considered. I also want you to mention some of your new reporting on this massive facility in Texas where there was a measles outbreak.
Yeah, this is the Dilley Family Detention Center. It's actually the facility where Liam and his dad were being held in Texas. Now the Department of Homeland Security, Errol, has confirmed that 2 detainees actually have confirmed cases of measles, and because of that, ICE has halted all movement in the facility, and there are concerns about a broader outbreak in ICE detention. Right now, ICE is housing more than 70,000 people in detention centers across the country, Errol.
So much to watch, Camilo. We always appreciate your reporting, and congrats once again.
Thank you.